Good morning, everyone. Pardon me. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the official Australian Olympiad team's announcement. My name is Nathan Ford. I'm the CEO at the Australian Maths Trust, and I will be your MC for this morning's event. Just before we kick off, we've had some minor changes to the schedule, so I will ask your forbearance as Minister Husic, who is meant to address us right away at kickoff, has been pulled into another commitment. I'm hopeful that he will be coming along a little bit later today, so I will do my best to shuffle the program order around, so please do bear with me. Also, we were meant to have a speaker, Mr. Robert Newey from Optiver. He's stuck on a plane on a tarmac in Sydney. So the weather and politics are providing some obstacles this morning, but I'm sure it will be a great event nonetheless. I begin today by acknowledging the Ngunnawal people, traditional custodians of the land on which we are meeting, and I pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. As so many of us have come from across the country, I would also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. Welcome. One very small minor housekeeping item before we kick off proper. We do have a professional photographer with us today, seated here in the front. He will be taking the photographs of the teams as they come down here to the front. If you could please just remain in your seats while that is happening, we would really appreciate it. Please feel free to take photographs, but we will also have a professional photographer doing some work up here at the front. The Informatics, Mathematical and Olympiad programs are funded by the Australian Government through the Department of Industry, Science and Resources, and I would like to thank them for their ongoing and generous support of these very important programs. I would also like to thank our other supporters here today, the Australian National University, the University of New South Wales, and Optiver. I would like to welcome our special speakers, Ms. Belinda Robinson, who's the Chair of AMTT Limited Board, Ms. Anna Davis, Chair of Australian Science Innovations, Emeritus Professor Ian Chubb AC, and if he can make it here and get off the plane, Mr. Robert Newey from Optiver. I would like to thank a range of ministers who are in attendance, Ms. Kate Cheney, Member for Curtin, Mr. Jerome Laxale, Member for Bennelong, Dr. Monique Ryan, Member for Kooyong, Ms. Sally Situ, Member for Reid, Ms. Kylie Tink, Member for North Sydney. I'd like to thank Ms. Anna Maria Arabia, CEO of the Australian Academy of Science, Dr. Melanie Bagg, CEO of the National Science Youth Forum, Ms. Margaret Shepherd, President of the Australian Science Teachers Association, and Ms. Kylie Walker from the Australian Academy of Technological Sciences and Engineering for attending today as well. And finally, welcome to the students. Congratulations, guys. Welcome to the parents, the teachers, the principals, and the supporters here today. It is so wonderful that you've climbed out of bed on a very cold Canberra day. This is probably the coldest in the 8 years that I've been doing this. And we're really happy to have you here sharing in this important event. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Ms. Belinda Robinson to the stage to say a few words. Belinda.
Thanks very much, Nathan, and good morning, everyone. What a sea of beautiful, enthusiastic faces that I'm looking at here today. What I'm meant to be doing right now is thanking the Minister for his inspiring words. I know they would have been inspiring, and they will be inspiring if he's able to attend shortly. And we'll keep our fingers crossed that that will be the case. But welcome to you all to this absolutely fantastic event. I just love these events. It is exciting for us at the AMT. It's exciting for our teachers. It's exciting for our schools. It's exciting for our community. It's exciting for our partners. It's exciting for the AMT. It's really a really wonderful thing to be doing on a really cold and frosty Canberra morning. So welcome to you all. So the work of the Australian Maths Trust and the Australian Science Innovations is absolutely anchored in helping young Australians fully develop their scientific and mathematical problem-solving skills, and of course to support them in taking their skills as far as they possibly can. And that's what today is all about. Our Olympiad program represents the peak of this work, and I sincerely congratulate our students, all of whom are here with us today. It's one thing to have talent, but as anyone at the top of their game, no matter what field they're in, it's not enough. To make it onto an Olympic team, it takes fortitude, it takes grit, it takes capacity, it takes tenacity, it takes commitment, and as you know, a massive amount of very hard work. So even though you're young, even though our Olympiad teams, our members of our Olympiad teams are young, the Olympiad students have developed incredibly advanced problem-solving skills. Whether that's in carbon capture, nanoparticles, combinatorics, or fundamental programming constructs, they excel in meeting the most challenging of problems with ingenuity and with creativity, with logical systems and systems thinking, and with just a little bit of courage. They're Australia's next generation of scientists and innovators, young leaders who will help tackle and solve the great mathematical and scientific challenges of our time. So thanks in advance for that. And as you'll undoubtedly discover as you meet and talk with these amazing young people, they are also wonderful young scientific ambassadors for Australia. As you travel overseas and meet your peers from around the world, we can all be very proud to know that you're forging the bonds of friendship and collegiality with your peers that will last far beyond your days in competition and closing ceremonies. Before I conclude, I'd like to acknowledge especially our informatics and mathematical teams. To our informatics teams, can I acknowledge your disappointment at being unable to travel to Egypt for this year's competition? You've achieved so very much, and you have so much to be proud of. But we are working extremely hard to find other experiences and opportunities so that you can demonstrate everything that you've learned and all the hard work that you've put in. As regards our mathematical team, I'd like to acknowledge the fact that for the first time in Australia's history, we have an IMO team that includes 4 young women. So this is a result of our concerted efforts at the Trust to build a pathway for young women to participate in higher level mathematical events like the European Girls Mathematical Olympiad. And it's proof positive that when it comes to maths, despite what you might hear in the media, young women can and do excel and achieve as much as their male peers. And thank goodness they ignore what they're told to accept, because it is so not true. To all the teams, to all the teams, enjoy the moment. Take time to reflect, take time to pat yourselves on the back. Take time to celebrate who you are and what you've achieved. Take time to really enjoy excelling. All of us at the Trust are very proud and fortunate to support you, and we wish you all the very, very best for the competitions this year. But in your future, we're going to be watching you very closely because the future is yours and you're going to own it, and we thank you on behalf of that future and on behalf of future generations. Thank you all, and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Belinda. I would now like to welcome Ms. Anna Davis, Chair of the Australian Science Innovations Board, to say a few words. Anna.
Thanks, Nathan. Olympians, family members, ladies and gentlemen. It's wonderful to meet today on the land of the Ngunnawal people, and I extend my respects to elders past and present. Thank you also to those joining us online via the live stream. It's great we can share this event with you. It is with great pleasure that I stand before you today as we gather to announce the members of the Australian teams for this year's Informatics, Maths and Science Olympiads. This event marks not only a celebration of academic excellence, but is also a testament to the limitless potential of young scientific minds. I'd like to acknowledge the significant support provided by the Department of Industry, Science and Resources. Without the support of our federal government, Australia's Olympiad programs would not be possible. I'd also like to thank Emeritus Professor Ian Chubb, ASI's patron, for being here today. Ian has made profound contributions to the fields of neuroscience and policy development related to both STEM and higher education. As he continues to advocate for the crucial role of science in addressing global challenges, Ian's support of the Olympiads is greatly appreciated. Further, I'd like to thank the Australian National University for their continued support of the Science Olympiad program. Our Olympiad students have had the opportunity to attend summer school at ANU, where they access world-class facilities and get a glimpse of university life. In sport, there are pathways programs for the most talented players. These commence at an early age, and the players have opportunities to play at regional, state, national and eventually international level over many years. However, at Australian Science Innovations, we believe that Australia's most talented science students should also have these same opportunities. At present, for science, there are a number of organisations that provide one-off opportunities for students. However, for several years, ASI has been working on developing pathways both through the Curious Minds program, where we partner with AMT, and more recently with the development of the Junior Science Olympiad program. This year, we are delighted to see the fruits of our pathway program come to light. Almost a quarter of the students who attended our summer schools for the Science Olympiads in January participated in the Junior Science Olympiad or the Curious Minds programs. And this is fantastic because what it's allowing us to do is reach more Australian students in more places across our vast continent. For us to select the best teams for Australia, we need to find every student, not just the students who know about us, but we need to find ways to reach every student in Australia so that we can pick the very best team for Australia. And both of these programs look for students from traditionally underrepresented areas. The Curious Minds program is directed at girls from regional, rural, remote, low socio-economic. The Junior Science Olympiad program, we have pathway programs within that to support students in rural, regional and remote areas who don't have the opportunity that some of our sister cousins have. And those students are doing really well. In December, the first ever Australian Junior Science Olympiad team to travel internationally attended the Junior Science Olympiad in Thailand, and every member of that team received a medal, 5 silver medals and 1 gold medal. Of the 17 Science Olympians here today, 6 commenced their Olympiad journey in the Junior Science Olympiad Squad, Academy or Spring School. Every student here today has a story to tell of resilience and perseverance. I'd like to give an example of how the pathways that ASI has been developing are making a difference. One student here today represented Australia at the Junior Science Olympiads in 2022. They represented Australia at the 2023 Earth Science Olympiad. And this year they'll be representing Australia for the 3rd time, this time at the International Chemistry Olympiad. We are not just providing one-off opportunities, we are developing pathways to enable Australia's best and brightest science students to engage with like-minded peers, to challenge themselves and to represent Australia on the world stage. The International Science Olympiads represent the pinnacle of scientific achievement for young people. Over the next few months, most of our teams will have the opportunity to travel internationally as far as China, Kazakhstan and Saudi Arabia to compete with the best science students from over 100 nations. Unfortunately, our Physics Olympiad team won't be able to travel internationally. Their competition is in Iran. You probably understand why they're not travelling. But they have had the opportunity earlier this year to compete in the Asian Physics Olympiad, which was held in Malaysia. It's not quite the same, but we will continue to look for opportunities as they arise. The journey to this moment is paved with dedication, curiosity and a relentless pursuit of knowledge. Each participant here has demonstrated exceptional talent and commitment. They've engaged in rigorous study, experimentation and problem solving. Olympians, your efforts have not gone unnoticed. You have shown resilience in the face of challenges and a thirst for understanding that will undoubtedly drive the future of scientific discovery. While away, approach the Olympiads with confidence, knowing you have already done the hard work. Remember, it is not solely about the medals. It is about honouring the pursuit of knowledge, immersing yourself into a new culture and the friendship that you will find in this international community. Thank you for your hard work and thank you for being great ambassadors for Australia. Behind every successful team, there is a cheer squad of supporters. Your guidance and encouragement have nurtured these young scientists, empowering them to explore the realms of knowledge. We are especially grateful for the school teachers and families who could make it here today or who are watching on the live stream. I would like to acknowledge the program directors and their teams consisting of the deputy directors, senior tutors, junior tutors for their consistent efforts to thoroughly prepare the students for their upcoming competitions. I'd also like to acknowledge the work of our office staff for all of their logistical support. To our students, thank you for your hard work, dedication and commitment. Your families are proud of you. Your teachers are proud of you. The Olympiad staff who have worked with you are proud of you. And the staff and the board of ASI are proud of you. As we prepare to reveal the names of those who will represent Australia on the international stage, let us celebrate the achievement of our students and look ahead to a future where their contributions will shape the world we live in. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Anna. Here's where we're going to skip out of the program as printed. I would like to welcome to the stage Emeritus Professor Ian Chubb, AC. As Anna has already mentioned, Professor Chubb is well known as a STEM leader in this country in various roles, including as Vice-Chancellor of ANU and Australia's Chief Scientist. So I welcome Professor Chubb to the stage.
Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, let me first pay my respects to the Ngunnawal people and my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I wanted also to begin with some congratulations and some thanks, but all my words have been stolen, so I'll still do it. I want to congratulate the students, obviously. I mean, I want to say to you that it's an honour to be here with you. You are the reason that we're here today, but it's the reason why I feel particularly privileged to be here, to see such committed and dedicated young people whose contributions, as you've already heard from Belinda and Anna, will make a substantial contribution to this country and to make this country what we want it to be, rather than what it just happens to be. And it's important for us to remind you of your obligation to us old folk. Our obligation to you is to try to pass you on something that is good to pass on. And that's why we do what we do, and hopefully create the right environment for you. But it is an honour. I'm sure, as you've heard, that you understand that we're proud of you, and I'm sure you will do us proud when you continue your science and your careers later on. I also wanted to thank your backers. We all know that without the support of family and friends and teachers and mentors, that these things don't just happen. We learn as we go, and we learn from people, and we learn from each other. One of the big advantages that you will have will be that you will learn from students similar age in other countries. An important part of this, and I'll go on to this a little later, but an important part of this is that we live in a world. One of my big scientific heroes is a man called Carl Sagan. I hope everybody's read Carl Sagan's book, The Pale Blue Dot, and if you haven't, I recommend it, that everybody in this room go and buy a copy. You can get it from something. You'll have to find out where you can get it. But it's one of the most wonderful books, and a serious astrophysicist who encouraged NASA to turn Voyager 1 around and take a photograph of Earth from 6 billion miles away, or maybe kilometres, but a long way away. And it appears as a pale blue dot, as he calls it, a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. And it is a most fantastic indication, articulation of what we owe each other as human beings who share this one planet, and what it is and what it becomes and what we do is exactly like that, good for us, just like technology. So I do what I do, and I talk about what I talk about, and I appear where I appear, because I have no doubt that one of the critical pieces in our future in this country is our science and our mathematics, and the role that it will play, as I've just mentioned, in building the country we want it to be, not one that just gets swept along, and it's a recurring theme in what I'll say. Now, we've known about the importance of science for a long time. Back in 1891, and I reassure you that notwithstanding appearances, I was not alive in 1891, that Henry Parkes, who's been described using many adjectives, but one of them was the father of our federation. And he was trying to persuade the individual colonies that comprised or occupied this landmass that we called Australia. And he was trying to encourage federation. He reminded his audience then, in a speech in 1891, and I quote, that we had to embrace the power which is conferred by bringing science as a harnessed steed into our service, and by bringing to bear upon our fortunes all the abundance of an advanced civilisation. And I refer back to those words because I don't think I've ever heard it expressed better. That science is important to the future of the country, and it's a steed that has to be harnessed for our benefit. But not just Australian benefit, for the benefit of humanity. Because Carl Sagan will remind you when you read his book, if you haven't already, and I thoroughly recommend it, that he talks about how every human being that has ever existed on this pale blue dot, a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. We have obligations to each other, notwithstanding what you hear about in the news every morning when you turn it on and wonder, but we do. So Parkes was right, and it would still be right if somebody were to say it now. Like then, he saw that we face challenges, and we still do. Like then, he thought that science and maths will help us come to grips with these challenges and forge a federated nation in his era that would be able to take its place as an advanced civilisation. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and I'm sure many of you have got your own list of what our present challenges are. And I know that if we combined the list, it would make a very long one. And I'm not going to go through a very long one because I've been told that if I speak too long, the floor under me will open up and I'll fall into the recesses of Parliament House and be lost forever, which is the last place that anybody would want to be. But I am going to use some words that I've used before because they went down well at the time, probably, and hoping they still do. But I want to just illustrate a few of the challenges that exercise my mind. First, we need to acknowledge, because we know, but we need to acknowledge that we're a continent unlike any other. We're the driest inhabited continent with species and ecosystems that are unique. My question is, if we don't study them, treasure them and sustain them, who will? It's where our science is important to us. Second one is the planet is heating, and so are we. The costs of global warming will be counted in things that matter to us. Think about the Great Barrier Reef and the news stories that appear every year about the impact of elevated ocean temperatures on the Great Barrier Reef and its ecosystem. On our agriculture with weather patterns changing, rural communities running out of water, finding it difficult, coastal cities, water and energy supplies, and health, to name just a few. Solving the problem, mitigating it or adapting to it is not the work of one country, and not one country in isolation, but it does require strong leadership to yield a suitable collective and effective global response. And our needs make us a contributor of our science and a need to be a leader. And we need to work with other people. So one of the advantages of the Olympiad scheme is that you will meet and hopefully forge friendships with other people that will endure and help solve some of these problems that do require the global response. Thirdly, our economy is heavily reliant on what we dig up and sell or what we grow and sell. There will come a time when the world won't want to buy what we've got, or at least not in the quantity we're used to selling. And if we don't use our talents to create new jobs and new industries for us, then who will? We have to. Fourth, the spread of artificial intelligence and automation is changing the world and the world of work. And if we don't prepare ourselves for it, who will do it for us? Fifthly, the increasingly complex challenges require a deep understanding of ever more sophisticated scientific data. And if we don't bother to collect it and manage it and use it for our benefit, who will do it for us? Sixth, all of us will be asked to grapple with technologies that will let us do more, but won't tell us whether doing more is good or bad, right or wrong. Technology can be good, but it can be bad. Using it could be the right thing to do, or it could be the wrong thing to do. If we don't think it through, if we don't have the capacity to think it through, and in advance, if we don't think about how we can harness chosen technologies for our common good, then who will? Seventh, the world is facing many great challenges like epidemics, pandemics, complications from the spread of antibiotic-resistant disease. 700,000 people died a couple of years ago from diseases that 10 years ago would have been treatable with antibiotics, and now they're resistant. And if we don't rally and harness our science to make our contribution, how can we expect others to do our share as well as their own? So students, you've got a good future. There are lots of opportunities, and I know that challenges can generate concern and confusion. But what they can also do is generate creativity, optimism, and an appetite for change, where people decide that their dreams and not their destiny will define them. When they pursue them with courage and with talent and commitment and expertise, we get there. So let's do it. Let's see our science, your science, as a critical capability for our chosen future. And as Henry Parkes would say, if he were still alive, a steed to be harnessed. It must be harnessed to everything we do. Our defence, our agriculture, our mining, our manufacturing, our cities and regions and our infrastructure, our literature and culture and media. But science is more than just smart people being smart. Science is ambitious because it points us to the future. And what it does is it gives us hope and it gives us optimism. Science is cooperative because everybody knows that you might be trying to be the best, but the wise amongst us, usually elderly, the wise amongst us know that you only get to be the best with the help of others, whether they be your teachers, whether they be your parents and your friends, or whether they be your colleagues from other places, in other disciplines, in other countries, that working with these people lets us challenge the big questions, the really hard ones, by working together in ways that we don't do well enough right now. Science is patient because scientists know that every great leap for humanity is more often than not, probably nearly every time, is many tiny stumbling steps that only add up to something important with time. So you need passion, you need patience, and you need persistence. We need to do our utmost to ensure that our science and our scientific expertise is ready to serve Australians and indeed the world as we require it, and that's constantly. Your future in science and mathematics might look something like this, and the challenges might be the ones I've outlined and more. The details might be wrong though, and the directions might evolve into something different. But good science, led by good and ethical scientists, trusted scientists, who both enjoy their work and understand its significance, will be what makes Australia the place we want it to be and make the world what we would prefer it to be. I wish you well, and I'm confident that you will do what we need you to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those inspiring words, Professor Chubb. And now for the good bits. So we're going to get on with the team announcement. And as I've said, as you can see, our photographer is quite busy, but please do feel free to take photos as you might, but just remain seated. So the process will be that I will invite each team leader or director to come and speak a little bit about their team. They will come shake hands with Professor Chubb. We'll take some photographs and we will rinse and repeat. So the first cab off the rank is this year's International Biology Olympiad team. The team will be announced by its program director, Dr. Julie Cook. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you. And what wise words, Prof.
Thank you.
That gap between the students and us as elderly is getting bigger. Your average age stays the same, we just get older. But thank you very much to all of our dignitaries and your kind words today. First of all, before I get to our students, I'd like to thank the parents for raising such beautiful, mature young people. It makes our job very easy. And thank you to the teachers. Some of you are here today, some of you will be listening online. But thank you for making our job easy. You've done all the hard work along the way. And we've now received these students, and pushed them harder, we've challenged them, and if you've felt out of your depth at times, we've done our job well. We have challenged you. And along the way, we've had tears, we've had fun, importantly. So thank you very much to parents and teachers. But off to Kazakhstan. It's been a privilege working with these 4 amazing students. So our first student I'll introduce you to is Joel Chiop. Andy Lin. Grace Ng. Catherine Peterson. Well done, biology.
Thank you very much. Next up is the International Chemistry Olympiad team, introduced by Mr. Jacob Go.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jacob, and I'm lucky enough to be one of the mentors from the Australian Chemistry Olympiads. Our 2024 Chemistry Summer School was a smashing success. We had 24 of the brightest minds from around Australia, and we had great fun learning chemistry, learning lab skills, and sampling all the various cuisines of Wright Hall, especially the choco milk. From this group of 24, we selected the incredible team of students that will represent Australia in Saudi Arabia at this year's International Chemistry Olympiad. It has been a pleasure to teach them and watch them develop their skills in the lab, and I am sure that they will do Australia proud. So, without further ado, Jerry Jin, Vinny Liang, Kevin Lin, and Penny Tassica.
Now we move on to the International Earth Science Olympiad team, to be introduced by Dr. Leslie Olmberg, Co-Program Director.
It is an immense honour and a privilege to be here to introduce the Australian Earth Science Olympiad team bound for Beijing, China this year. Yet it also came as a sad surprise to learn that this responsibility would fall to me this year. Collaborating with Greg McNamara, who brought earth sciences into the ASI fold, has fostered an era of unparalleled personal and professional growth under his patient and gentle tutelage. His unexpected step back a few weeks ago due to health issues provides me the opportunity to apply lessons learned over these past 8 years of working with him. I know he is deeply disappointed not to be here today to celebrate these fine young people and their amazing achievements and all the fun that we've had together. But I can guarantee he is not lamenting not wearing a tie today. The ISO is unique among the Olympiads in including international collaborative events to supplement the individual competitions. And as Professor Ian Chubb just mentioned, these international collaborations are what make science so dynamic and so critical. This requires assessing our students for a deep complement of skills beyond just their exam acing prowess. We look for students who have grace under pressure, because how else do you make diamonds, who excel in collaborative endeavors, and who demonstrate true listening and empathy in their leadership. Exactly the skills that we need in our leaders for the future. This year's team is composed of 4 dedicated, determined, and tenacious individuals who have shown great commitment both to our discipline and to our principles. It is an absolute delight to present to you our magpie poet, Tanya Chi. Oh, sorry. Oh, Kevin's first. Oh, no, he's not our magpie poet. But Kevin is our bust-a-move mineral man, Kevin Howe. Next, we have Joel, the stealth bomber, Tan, who surprises everyone. We have our magpie poet now, Tanya Chi. And our amazing wise owl, Carolyn Tan. No.
Thank you. Next up, I'd like to invite Mr. Angus Ratossa, who is the Informatics Director of Training, up to the stage to announce the International Olympiad in Informatics team. Angus.
So informatics is always hard to introduce because we get asked what it was. I remember last year I had a whole thing written out and I was trying to find it this morning and unfortunately I think I deleted it. So I'll just give a shorter explanation, which is problem solving through code, which I got from our website. Yeah. Unfortunately, as you have heard, we're unable to send a team due to safety concerns this year. However, this does not take away from all the hard work they've put in, the countless hours of training, and the many competitions they have sat in the lead up to be selected for the IOI team. It's not an easy process, and I can confidently say these students are amongst the best in the world. Now to introduce the team. First up, we have Miles Conway. Alex Wang. Andy Wu. And Nathan Zhao.
Up next, I'd like to invite Dr. Angelo Di Pasquale, our Mathematical Olympiad Director of Training, to the stage to introduce the 2024 International Mathematical Olympiad team. Angelo.
Good morning, everybody. Not too long ago, I was asked for my professional opinion regarding artificial intelligence, AI, and its possible impacts on the Maths Olympiad program. I thought I'd test it out a little bit on one of our easiest problems at our training school that even our junior students had no trouble with, and it had all the problems in the world, even with help. And I was scratching my head and sort of trying to think, what's going on here? After all, AI is pretty good at acing high school exams and even university exams nowadays, and it seems to be that it has trouble when you get into genuine problem solving, and that's what our Maths Olympians are very, very good at. Even when presented with a problem, in the process of problem solving, they have to actually go into the problem and then identify problems within the problem that they need to come to terms with before they can solve the full problem, as it were. One of the so-called holy grails of AI is to try and reach a point where it can ace the International Maths Olympiad. That's quite a challenge. They've been working on it for a number of years. They have actually made some progress, which is interesting. It will be really good to track their progress, at least in the field of geometry, but still struggling elsewhere. Nevertheless, our team will have the International Maths Olympiad paper in front of them, and I'm very confident that they are going to do very well when they leave in about 2 weeks' time. We'll invite them down. So our first Olympian is William Chia. Amber Lee. Laura Nan. Alex Chu. Cloris Zhu. And Iris Zhu. They leave in about 2 weeks' time. Wish them well.
Thank you, Angelo. And now for to announce the 2024 International Physics Olympiad team, Mr. Lachlan McGuinness.
Thank you, Nathan. What I love about this event is that we always save the best till last. We have a fantastic physics team. I'm incredibly proud of all the hard work that you guys have put in and how you have stood up for each other and kept each other safe as a team and worked together as a team. Can we all please give them a big round of applause on what they've achieved? There are some other people that I would really like to thank as well, and I think that our whole team would like to say thank you too. The Physics Olympiad program has such a strong volunteer staff. We just could not run our program without the constant contributions of our staff. Thank you so much to all of you. In particular, to Kinjal and Maggie, who are here today, our Deputy Directors. Thank you so much for coming to be here to support the students. I'd also like to say, we won't do applause for every single one of these, otherwise we'll... Also, I'd like to say a big thank you to parents, teachers, tutors. There are many, many people who have supported these students to get to where they are today. I know that you guys haven't just, your work didn't start at summer school. You guys have been working and preparing for this for years, and you've done so well. We are so proud of your achievements. So with that, I'll welcome up the team. So we'll start with Ian Lai. Joel Lee. Eason Yang. Hola Zhao. And David Zhu.
Thank you very much, Lachlan. Thank you very much, Professor Chubb. Now we are going to move to a very special address. One of the students is going to come up to the stage and address the group. Amber Lee was a member of the team that we sent to this year's European Girls Mathematical Olympiad. She achieved a gold medal, as did her 3 teammates, and overall helped Australia place second out of 54 participating countries, second only to the United States. So we're incredibly proud of that team, as we are all the teams here today. We're very proud of that EGMO initiative, which we started back in 2018, and we're very excited that in 2 or 3 short weeks we will also be sending Australia's first team to the European Girls Olympiad in Informatics, which is a new initiative as well. So we're very positive and optimistic about those teams and the opportunities for young women at this level of problem solving. Amber, if you would like to make your way to the stage. There you are. Thank you very much. Amber Lee.
Good morning, guests, fellow competitors and organisers. My name is Amber. I am in Year 10 at Pymble Ladies College, and I am deeply honoured to be here speaking to you all as a representative for the IMO. Firstly, I must recognise that we couldn't be here without the support of so many people and organisations. The AMT and ASI, with their extensive training programs, have helped countless students reach their potential, with the financial support of the Australian Government and other sponsors. So a huge thank you to the AMT and ASI and the wonderful staff that work there. Now for me personally, I would like to thank first and foremost my family for always trying to give me the best opportunities. In particular, my mum and all her care and effort is the #1 reason that I could be here today. Secondly, thank you to the teachers at Pymble Ladies College who have done all they can to help me achieve my goals. And finally, thank you to the teachers, coaches and past medalists who have so generously shared their knowledge and experience with us. An International Olympiad is a really special opportunity. It allows us to meet and compete against people from all around the world who share an interest in our subject. But the value of the Olympiad is not in the end result, but in the journey. My own journey started around 2021. It was the middle of COVID, and I found myself with a huge amount of free time and a couple of textbooks on the shelf. I was immediately fascinated. I was introduced to powerful mathematical tools, surprising results, and problems that were really fun and unique. As I went deeper into Olympiad maths, it opened my eyes to new possibilities. It was definitely challenging, but the harder it got, the more interesting it was. Little by little, maths has become my #1 passion. Of course, there are many times where I've been the only girl in a room full of boys. But even though it is sometimes uncomfortable to be a little bit different, the rewards of doing maths have made it 100% worth it. And my advice for everyone, and especially girls, is it doesn't matter if other people think you're not good enough. It doesn't matter if you're the odd one out. And it doesn't matter how many times you fail. If you think your pursuit is meaningful, keep going. And in fact, as you can see in our IMO team, but also in the wider maths and STEM community, the gender gap is rapidly levelling out. It's something I'm really glad to see. So for all the girls listening, let's prove ourselves to the world. So what have I learned from doing Olympiad? I've learned plenty of fascinating maths, of course, but more than that, it has taught me many life lessons. And out of all the lessons I've learned, the biggest one might be this. No matter how good you are, maths won't always be easy. Many talented students aren't hit by this reality until they get to university. But Olympiad prepares you from early on. When you get used to working on just 3 problems for a full 4.5 hours, you learn how to persevere and how to be resilient. The list could keep on going. I've learned that difficult problems aren't scary. They're just a way to improve. I've learned to stay humble and to work hard. There's no quick fix for any problem, and there are no magical talents. But there will always be something to improve on and something new to learn. One last thing that Olympiad has made me realize is that I want to keep doing maths throughout my life. I'm excited for university and the wider range and depth of topics it will bring. And one day, I'm hoping to go into research and help with scientific applications, especially in biology, which is my second favorite subject. In fact, I think all of us students here can one day try to use our knowledge to make a real difference. Our world has so many issues, and we need every part of STEM to solve them. For example, climate change. How will we support our growing population without impacting the Earth too much? We'll need renewable technology. we will need renewable energy, efficient technology, an understanding of ecosystems and the climate. And of course, we'll need new mathematical tools for the modelling and data processing behind every research advance. It's because of the potential of STEM to deal with issues like this and many more that I want to go into research. I sincerely hope that we all, as STEM students, can one day do our part in making the world better. So as we get closer to the much anticipated start of the Olympiads, I would like to wish all my fellow contestants good luck. This year, I went to EGMO for the first time, and I will always remember how satisfying it was to be rewarded for my efforts. I hope that all of us can experience this and achieve a good result that makes ourselves and Australia proud. I hope we make the most of our opportunity, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those words, Amber. This is the 8th team's announcement that I've been a part of, and I'm always amazed at the courage and the inspiration of the students, the enthusiasm and their commitment, and their achievements at such a young age. So as we wind up this ceremony, it doesn't appear that the Minister is going to be able to make it, but as we wind up, I would like all the students to, over the next day or week or month, reflect on what you've been able to achieve. Take great pride in what you've been able to achieve, and keep going. Because as you've heard from a number of people this morning, we need problem solvers like you, and you are at the forefront. You are the next generation of this work, and we are very lucky to be able to support you on your journey. I would also like to thank, in particular, the team leaders, the directors, the parents, and the guardians, the principals, and the supporters who are here today. I've already been made a liar, so the Honourable Ed Husic MP, Minister for Industry and Science, is here. So I guess my vamping is good enough. I would like to welcome the Minister to the stage to address the students. Minister Husic.
Good morning. First, I just want to acknowledge that we're on the lands of the Ngunnawal and pay respects to elders past and present, and to any First Nations people that are here today. I guess there's no such thing as subtle entry. I just wanted to step in and say good day. I know I had a formal speech earlier, but Cabinet, as such, meets on Monday mornings, and I just couldn't make it here. I did personally want to be able to join with you, because I always take interest in terms of the Olympiad and what you're doing, because science, technology, engineering, maths is really important for the longer term health of the nation. While I couldn't be here, you had someone who I admire greatly and who has done great things for this country in Ian Chubb, who I want to acknowledge, is present here today. And I'm assuming by my remarks I've correctly indicated you've spoken. Have you? Terrific, thank you. And if I may just extend my personal thanks, Ian, for all that you've done for our country and continue to do as well. It's tremendous that you've got someone, Ian Chubb is a big deal, and for him to address you is important. And we share your passion. You are amongst some of our great new minds in the next generation of Australian thinkers in this space. Obviously, being selected for this is not easy. You also, no pressure, follow others who've done very well in this space, and I'm confident you'll do the same. But I wanted to be here, and all of us are here, from different walks, not just schools and other scientific and research bodies that are here, but I know proud parents are here as well, all willing you on, as we are with the rest of the country, to do well. It's not just about winning this Olympiad, it's about securing our future. And you can play a big part in this, using your minds in a way that can make the lives of others much better. So I just wanted to personally wish you all the very best, to be here to acknowledge what you've been able to achieve so far, and obviously to be able to have a quick chance to see you all. So thank you. I had a whole formal speech and just sort of raced in, but I just want to tell you from here, as much as here, how much it means what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. If you have 2 minutes, we might try to finagle a photograph of you with the teams. I would just like to say a big thank you to the Minister, to Ian Chubb, to Belinda and Anna for their words, for Amber for her very considered and wonderful speech, for the students, the teachers, the parents that are here today. Thank you for helping us acknowledge these wonderful students. That formally concludes the event. I'm sorry, students, you're going to have to sit here for a little bit longer while everyone else gets food, but I'm sure that we will protect a certain amount of food, so make sure that you guys have something to eat. But I'm just going to ask the team leaders and the program directors and the students to remain seated. Everyone else, please do join us up in the foyer for some refreshments. And thank you very much. All the best. Have a wonderful day.